Don't do that. Leave it. Leave the mics off until then.
We are on. Hello, people, and welcome to the good news segment, which hopefully should have very little technical issues, other than the fact that we've unfortunately lost one of our guests because he has disappeared off the face of the planet just a minute beforehand. So it's some sort of technical issue involved there, which is really unfortunate. So you're gonna have to bear with me while I fix the visuals for this, because we actually have two Alices on either side now because it was planned to have a Shane in one of those. So bear with me while I fix that. So Alice, you want to go ahead and say, tell us about the channel?
Well, it is mostly your brainchild originally, and I ended up involved at a later date. But essentially, the good news segment is going to be a podcast about basically anything at the moment. We might niche it down the line a bit, but for the time being, pretty much any topics are open to talk about. So this week we're talking about why do people like things on social media. So, like Richard and myself both have professional pages on Facebook as well. So, this is all something that we think about a lot. And it's basically of interest to anybody who uses social media, which is 90% of the population. So do we have visuals sorted?
Yeah. That's good enough for now. Oh, it's so unfortunate, and the first one and everything like that. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Yes, welcome. As we've probably said already, I'm Richard, and this is Alice. We're here today as the good news segment. So our topic today is going to be, why do people like things, and what makes them click that button on social media and such. But before we get into that, it's going to be our main chunk. We're going to have I'll just let you know what's the schedule for today. So we have our intros and stuff. Yeah, check. We will we would definitely appreciate anybody who's commenting right now or is going to comment or has anything interesting to say there. Unfortunately, we're going to be ignoring that for the time being. But the reason for that is just so we don't get too distracted. But we'll be reading them after the podcast, and we will discuss them as our icebreaker in the next podcast, should there be anything of interest. But today we're going to do our little warm up of thing. So what I figured is it should still be on topic, whole social media and likes and stuff like that, but it should have a bit of a fun twist to it. So we're thinking what do most people do for icebreakers in this situation, and it's kind of like would you rather questions. So but what we decided was we'd make up our own would you rather questions. And I have some. Do you have some, Alice?
Yeah, I have a few.
Oh, cool. Shane, do you have some? Oh, he's not here. I'm so bitter right now. I really don't know where he is. I'm so sickened that he's missing this section, because he would have loved this section. This would have been great for him. But no.
I'm going to give you one to start with anyway.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Something simple.
Shoot.
Would you rather be banned? Would you rather be banned from the internet for a month, or banned from using your phone for a month?
Phone. That was easy.
That was an easy one. Why?
I don't really use my phone so much. Does a tablet count?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
mobile devices.
I can have my computer anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about my mobile. That's great. My mobile is kind of just a more convenient computer. So I'll just use.
That's interesting, because I'd pick the opposite.
Really?
Absolutely.
What would you do on your phone if you didn't have the internet, though?
Text people so that I'd know where to find them.
I wouldn't worry about that. But if you had the internet, you could do the same thing.
You wouldn't be able to do it on the fly, though.
Yeah, but everybody's on Facebook now. Instant Messenger.
Yeah, but you don't have Facebook or your computer if you're in a coffee shop waiting for someone.
Yeah, but most coffee shops just have a computer there or something, or you could go to the library, people used to get around without mobile phones and the internet, so
There's
I don't
not so
know.
many phone boxes around now.
I feel like you'd be missing out on something fierce if you didn't have the internet, though. You know, I don't know. I
think it depends on who you're interacting with, because
Well, that's it, I suppose.
if you're, like if you're interacting with someone in a physical space, then I'd prefer to have my phone with me than the internet.
Yeah.
Whereas,
yeah, go on,
for
sir.
most other situations, the internet would be more useful.
Yeah, but most other situations, like 99.9% of my life. I mean, the only reason I use a phone, like texting and calling, is just, yeah, pretty much just because in that moment it's more convenient than using the internet. But, like, to be honest, like, the only reason I get credit for my phone is to have unlimited internet. So, yeah, no, totally on the internet side of things. But, okay, so that's interesting. If only we knew what Shane was going to say. Shane, if you're listening, get on this podcast right now. So, okay, here's the one that I came up with. Because I have like two others, but they're pretty rubbish, and I haven't really properly formulated like how to say them. I find that's like the hardest thing about this. These would you rather questions is actually just trying to word it so it makes sense.
Okay, you can try anyway.
I'll try. Would you rather have a permanent, real dog Snapchat filter on you, or have a normal face except for when you open your mouth you have a real rainbow filter, the one where you like puke rainbow?
Yeah.
That's
an interesting one.
Comment below if about your
I'd
think.
probably go real life dog filter all the time.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think people would get used to that eventually, whereas if you constantly look like you're throwing up rainbows every time you try to talk to someone, I think that would be more of a sudden shock.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't easier.
And I think it would be harder to get used to.
Damn, I thought it was going to be like a super hard one. But
you want another one?
Yes, please.
Would you rather your face become an internet meme, or would you rather having to read every word of the terms and conditions that you come across forevermore?
Ooh, those are very different things. Oh, okay, this is a thinker. Okay, so face becoming an internet meme, or that. I guess it depends on what the meme is. Like, is the meme like putting me down, or am I like being put on a pedestal kind of thing?
Yeah, good point.
Because if it was if it was like me in a good light kind of thing, or even if it is just like a funny light, but it's not putting me down, I don't think I'd mind that as such, because at least that'd be an interesting thing, and people would be like, "Oh, you're the meme. I recognize you." That'd be fun for about 5 years or however long a meme lasts. What was the other option again?
Having to read every word of the terms and conditions that you come across forevermore.
Oh dear, dear. Sorry, I'm after screwing up things in my head. I got fidgety. No, I wouldn't like to read it at all, because some of those things are like 50 pages long. Well, that's probably an exaggeration, but they're like 14 pages at least, and I don't read a lot of things anyway. So, although that sounds like a wild Shane has appeared.
Sounds like he's trying.
Oh dear, you there? We're getting a distress signal from another spaceship. Hello? You there, Shane?
Can you hear me?
Hi!
Hello.
Welcome back, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shane who is speaking. Turn on your camera, Shane. If you can.
I'm on my phone. I had to download. Hold on. I had to download Skype. It was. I'm like.
What happened?
I'm sorry. There we go. I was very close. Fuck. My internet just went down literally as we were supposed to go live.
Yeah, I noticed. Wow.
Yeah, so I've been like, so basically, I had to, like, I was trying to, like, trying to get on my phone. I didn't have enough data on my phone. Basically, I had to open the doors was the trick, because the doors open now. I have data.
Oh dear.
And so I'm on my phone. I download Skype and sign in. I said, oh.
Okay, Alice, you're gonna have to do me a favor here and distract everybody while I like organize this layout, because everything's changed again.
I'm gonna ask Shane a would you rather then.
Shane, can you put your phone horizontally? Apologies everybody for these technical issues. Oh, that didn't work at all. I thought it would I thought it would flip and then like the video would be, you know, normal window. Yeah, okay, you can put it back to the other way, Shane. Thank you for your cooperation. Apologies everybody for the little rough edges that we have. This is the first episode, and it's the first time we ever tried doing something so like organized and stuff, and that obviously doesn't work for us. But yeah,
you get back to that anyway. I'm gonna ask Shayna, would you rather? So
Cool.
I'll give you another simple one. Would you rather always get stuck in traffic wherever you go, or would you rather always have a slow internet connection?
Oh, after that, no, I'd always get stuck in traffic. Jeez. Easy choice.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, definitely, because I couldn't be making podcasts with slow internet, so.
Aww. I hear commitment.
I got.
Yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah.
What? Oh no, you're all G.
No, I was just going to say, and I'm like, I'm not going to touch your video thing at all, because like, if I did just try and single it out and not have the little bit of Alice's video in there, it would just be like lots of Shane's face really close up, because it's a portrait.
Can we like help? Get further away.
Should we let people into the inside joke?
My ear.
Shane is very conscious of his left ear.
My left ear, yeah, it's very big in cameras.
Wear
in person,
headphones.
it's
Just wear headphones.
My other one doesn't work.
It
doesn't hide it.
I should ask you my would you rather, Shane. So okay, which would you rather? Would you rather? Oh jeez, I'm on the wrong page. Would you rather have a permanent, real dog Snapchat filter on your face, or have a normal face except every time you open your mouth you have a real, like, the puking rainbow filter?
Was this the good one that you were saying that you wouldn't get
a hint? Yeah. That's a good one.
That is a good one. I'm gonna say the rainbow. I think I'd rather the rainbow.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, because at least like you're only like on the earth like 90 years at a good age, and beyond that, there's so many years that people will look at you in photos, and that's where it counts. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, wow,
that's a really good point.
That's
I didn't think of
interesting.
that.
You're so philosophical, Shane. Larry choking on. Okay, so that's really interesting, because, well, to be honest, like, would you really be remembered that long if you didn't have the dog face? Because if you were the dog face, people remember you for much longer. If that's your concern.
You'd only be remembered for that, though.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't matter everything else that you did in life. You'd always be remembered as the one with dog face.
You could be the dog face guy who makes cool video games, or something.
Ooh.
You know, they remember the secondary point because of that, or, you know, it's, I don't know. Because, well, the other option is, like, you mightn't be remembered at all.
Yeah.
In 100 years' time, or past whatever. 100 million years.
That's a bit sad now.
This is going into a very dark place. I'm gonna take your cheery ending, Shane. Yay! Everybody gets to remember me as who I was. Yeah. So that's interesting. Shane, do you have any would you rather?
It's not at all original. I kind of robbed it. Okay, so would you rather, and you probably heard this before, would you rather have fingers the size of legs or legs the size of fingers?
Oh, I've heard of that. This doesn't have to do with social media.
Yeah.
But I
Legs the
guess
size of
What's the
fingers.
Snapchat filters on my real face have to do with social media?
Snapchat is a social media. I don't think he heard that.
I'm not sure if like
No.
the video is frozen or he's just shocked by the comeback.
You've got me.
Yeah, but Snapchat,
I'm so conscious
Snapchat's
about that.
social media.
I think he is selective
Okay, we'll go
here
for
in
social
this
media one.
regard.
No, yeah. Okay, while you think of that, I'm gonna think about an answer for what was it? Fingers the size of legs or legs the size of fingers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think I've answered that one before years ago, and I think, well, having fingers the size of legs might be handy, like when you're older and you don't need a cane or anything. You can just be like, duk, 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 duk,
What?
that might be handy. You could also poke people from really far away.
Bizarre reasoning.
Then, because part of me is like, oh, if you had like legs the size of fingers, you'd be like Mr. Krabs. Nobody knows who that is, do they? Come on, everybody knows Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob.
I think that question ultimately boils down to, like, would you rather have no legs or have hands too big to use?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
for me, I definitely pick like
Yeah.
legs the size of fingers because my hands are important.
That's a
And
good
like
point,
I do
yeah.
a lot with these.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to use computer normally or anything, or
You wouldn't be able to
You'd be
do
lost.
anything at all normally, whereas you could just like sit happily in a wheelchair and life would be
Yeah,
more or less
There you
fine.
go.
yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, everybody's kind of adapted for for people in wheelchairs and stuff. Nobody's adapted for people with long leg fingers, I think.
You'd set a trend, I suppose.
Says it true. And then you'd always be
You'd be
remembered.
remembered.
Yeah. This is what it always comes back to. Does anybody else have any interesting would you rathers before we go on to our main topic?
I think we should move on to our main topic.
I'd say so, yeah.
Cool.
Roll G.
So our main topic today, ladies and gentlemen, at last we are here. The question we're asking is, what makes people like things on social media, or thumbs up things, or whatever the equivalent is, or put a note on things, or just so many different versions. So, does anybody want to get the ball rolling?
Well, the main reason that I like things on social media, personally, is to save things. Like if I come across a really interesting article or a really nice drawing or something, I'll often like it so that I can look back on it later.
So what you're looking
Is that something
for,
you guys do?
That's interesting. So like, well, most websites generally have a save function now. Different.
They
from
do
the
now,
like.
but they didn't before.
That's true. So like, you're in the habit of being very selective with your likes, then, is it?
Yeah, very much.
And I guess what you're looking for is something unique.
But that's just one of the ways that I like. There are other ones as well, but that's kind of the main one that I find.
That's
Every
that's
day
really interesting.
I'm liking things for that reason.
That's fascinating, actually, because I didn't. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's essentially a way for me to like catalog interesting things that I've seen.
How about yourself, Shane? What's like one weird habit that you have with liking things?
I was thinking about this, and it's really kind of strange. But like, I don't like anything. I think it's like a waste of time. But I will occasionally like stuff like my profile photo has changed or something like that, and it's just like a pity, like, because I'm like, I haven't interacted with you in so long.
Yeah.
It's like, if I haven't talking to you or anything, and I'm like, oh, why am I supposed to be friends with you? Here's a like.
I kind of do that in a different way. Like, I wouldn't consider it a pity like, but if I haven't seen people in a long time, then I'll be more inclined to like their stuff, to kind of remind them that I exist. And like remind them that I'm thinking of them and like I do appreciate them. But I don't consider it a pity thing. I think of it more as like a way to connect with people who are further away.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, 'cause often, like I do that as well, actually. Because often,
I think
like,
I just message.
well, that's, I don't usually have anything to say to anybody. I'm like super independent. Like, I don't really need to talk to anybody, and I tend to be like, I don't like. I love having a chat with people, like just talking, but I hate texting and typing conversations.
I'd be the same.
Absolutely hate
I'd
that.
find it hard to
definitely.
like talk to people over text, but just liking people's pictures and stuff, I think that's a really nice, just like a little link to people.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's something I do.
Without committing to like a full conversation in text.
Yeah. That's true.
It's not something I'm ready to commit to.
Well, over the past year in particular, I've just been insanely busy, and because text conversations aren't really my thing, I just haven't been able to.
And you do have to kind of commit to them,
much.
don't you? Yeah. Like I don't like dragging people along, but I'm so busy all the time. I find a way to fill up my time, so I don't. It's just I'm often like days in between replies and stuff, but unless it's urgent, I tend to be fairly around. But that's interesting. Yeah, something I've kind of noticed in my habits. So okay, this is me being really like nitpicky and stuff, and you guys have kind of said more positive things about why you like things. Except, well, okay, pity, like maybe not. But something that I notice I do, or say this is like, instead of like what makes me like something, this is something that makes me not like something.
So fast.
Oh, you broke up something fierce there, Shane. What'd you say? What'd you say?
I'm not sure he heard you.
What makes you not like?
You broke up completely.
I'm so confused.
You broke up. I couldn't hear you.
You can't hear me at all.
No, you broke up, so I couldn't hear you there. What did you say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Let's move on. Continue your train of thought anyway.
So, something that makes me not like a post is actually if people don't put a caption on it. I'm really picky with this kind of stuff. Like if you were to share like some random YouTube video, but you didn't put a caption on it, like if you didn't say like, this is why I like this video, or hey, you should have a look at this, or whatever like that, this is really interesting, or anything. But if you just pasted the link, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to bother with myself, because you haven't convinced me to put my time into this.
I disagree with you for that example in particular. I disagree with you for YouTube videos, but for everything else, I would agree with you on that point.
Yeah, well,
because like I think it happens on Instagram a lot that people like share a photo and they don't caption it at all.
That annoys me. Oh.
But like I understand that it's a photo-based social media.
Yeah.
So like there is the only place it should be fine, but it still isn't, because I feel like I want to know the story behind this image.
Yeah. 100%. Like sorry. Go on.
But with a YouTube video, I think that's okay, because like if somebody shares a YouTube video on Facebook, I'll be just like, oh, they like this YouTube video, maybe I'll like it too.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it was a bad example, yeah. Because you see, often like, I know some people, and because like I'm in the kind of art like circles, I know a lot of people who are really creative and they do a lot of creative stuff, but sometimes they post things that aren't their own stuff, and they don't caption it and say, look at this awesome artwork that I, even just saying that I found it as opposed to I made it. But like, like not giving credit is another thing altogether. But just like people, if you don't caption it, you're sort of claiming it, and part of me is like, I've seen a few times where people who are exceptionally talented and do their own exceptionally talented thing, but they don't caption anything, and sometimes they post things that aren't their own. So I don't know if any of their stuff is their own.
So everything is just a mix.
That's
like
it.
you can't tell what's what.
And well, like, to be fair, it's like usually it's like I know the person, so I know they did this and stuff like that. But and sometimes I'd kind of give a like there, but I'd be really hesitant because like, oh, it bothers me. It bothers me so much.
Yeah, and especially like art credit is something so important. Like
Huge.
so important.
Yeah.
Like I've had people steal my work and claim it as their own, and it's just the worst feeling.
Really, yeah.
So you know that's obviously something that I would be very like I wouldn't like anything if there was no credit there.
Yeah, exactly.
For
Yeah.
that reason.
And just even just the idea of that, it's kind of like, you know, if you said something really truthful and then you said a lie about the same thing, like then the one that's true kind of becomes a lie as well. So it's kind of like once you do it once, you kind of taint them all, sort of thing. And it's kind of hard to get out of that.
I guess it's a trust thing.
But that's it. Yeah, trust is a good way of putting it, actually.
Like if it's not a reliable source,
yeah,
then it's not a reliable source ever.
Yeah, and so like often, so sometimes like there's people out there, and I kind of understand like if they're not creative people themselves, that they kind of don't really see the need to put credit.
Shane could have a good opinion on that. Like, do you feel that way as well, Shane? Having like not being an artsy type.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even have noticed if someone put up a photo and they didn't credit anyone. It doesn't even cross my mind.
Really?
That's interesting.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Ooh.
Not even once.
We forgot.
Not even like I'm just like.
Sorry.
Then I'm like, do I care?
we never mentioned our like what kind of perspective we're coming from for the viewers who mightn't know. So, well, we can speak for each other. So I dabble in like video production, all that kind of stuff. I did a bunch of that kind of thing, but nothing majorly. Like I didn't really do any professional work. So maybe I think I did twice actually. I'm going back and forth, but mostly it's a hobby. I'm currently studying game art and design, so I'm learning how to make video games essentially, and I kind of dabble in the tech industry, and I'm into my computers, and I'm into all that kind of thing. So that's kind of like the perspective I'm coming from, is interactive creativity and stuff.
And then I'm coming in again with a creative angle in that, like I've been illustrating and designing things for almost 5 years now, and sharing that online on my website and blogging and things like that. And I just finished my college course. I'm all done. So I was studying digital animation. So obviously that's all drawing, illustration, that kind of thing. That's where I'm coming from.
Cool. And yourself, Shane?
Yeah, I'm like not creative at all. So no,
You're just
I don't
creative
come from
in
that.
different
So I'm
ways.
not from
Yes,
like in my special way. No, yeah. So I'm studying business in I forget the name of my college. Not great. In WIT. But yeah, and so it's kind of like general business and stuff, and it's kind of like strategies, and I don't know what to say about myself. I just do things. People
you're
like
big into like event management and
yeah,
kind of producing.
yeah, like that's what I mean by
Am I
doing
saying that?
things. It's kind of like yeah, like that's the weird thing about events, in that you can't really say you're going into events. It's just like you just kind of take part in stuff. Your face always just shows up in places, and people are like, "Are you doing this as well?" And you're like, "Yeah." Turns out I got caught for this too. But so yeah, I do things, and yeah, pretty much, except my internet, because I can't make that happen.
But on the note of creativity, like I genuinely think you are very creative when it comes to business stuff. So you do have that aspect as well.
It's yet to be seen.
It will be though. But anyway, what were we talking about before we introduced ourselves in the middle of?
Good point.
What makes you not like things?
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. And giving credit and that kind of and captions. That's the last thing we're talking about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's interesting, right? Yeah, because you see, often like I'd kind of forgive somebody who's not really into making stuff themselves, because I can understand that they wouldn't know what it feels like for somebody to lift their things, or for your stuff to be miscredited.
And a lot of people have their first impression that it's a compliment.
Yeah, that's it, and
which is
it's funny, yeah. You often see things like that where in all sorts of ways where people are like, oh sure, I'm just giving them more views, and it's like, well, actually you're kind of not, because they saw it in your place and then they're done. But that's actually that's another thing, is like often I see people sharing things and it wouldn't actually be a direct link to anything. It would just be like they saw a picture on the internet and they saved it and then re-uploaded it. And so there's no original credit or anything like that, and I won't like that generally. Yeah. And if just things like that, or do you know the way there's like, I won't name names, but there's all sorts of like Facebook groups and pages and all that their whole business is sharing other people's stuff. Now, to be fair, a lot of them have gotten into saying who it is, who is the person behind it or whatever.
But still, I'd have opinions about it.
I'd have opinions because if you don't get the consent of the original person, especially. And
because they're essentially building a business on just taking other people's stuff.
Those guys are getting millions of views, millions, all over the place. So there's no doubt that they could. So it kind of seems very sleazy, and it's like somebody did the hard work and then you sort of just capitalize on it. Now, I'm not saying like, all those YouTube pages didn't have to, it wasn't hard work to set those up, but you are doing your hard work on the back of other people's hard work, so it's a bit, without their consent.
Yeah, and not necessarily without their consent.
Now, some of them might get their consent, and that's fair to them. So, but yeah.
But that's kind of a story for anher day.
Yeah,
I could do a whole podcast just on credit.
But if someone likes you. If someone likes your artwork on social media or whatever, or they like your artwork on someone else's like shared social media, like what's the difference to you? Like it is just a like.
Yeah, you see,
I get the credit, but like where's the check coming into your bank account? Kind of like how does
it's just
your work.
Yeah, it's more of a pride thing.
Yeah, I don't really want to get too deep into this, but I have had people like take my work and literally take out my signature and replace it with their own.
Yeah.
And like, yes, that artwork is still getting likes and it's still getting appreciated, but like I've just been ripped off.
Yeah.
And it just like depreciates me and like my sense of
But
worth.
I suppose when it comes to the stuff that's like, even if it is somebody who took your things and then and those big YouTube pages or whatever that are making money off of re-uploading other people's stuff, and even if they give a nod to whoever it is, like that isn't on the same level, because one is just downright just sinister, and the other one's kind of like, I guess it's all right, but I guess it is kind of a pride thing of just like, I don't know, it's nice to be asked permission or whatever, and I'd be curious to see what are the numbers that actually click through, because I do make it a point myself to, like, if I see something, I will actually click through to see who is the actual person behind it. But I don't know, is that me being the exception, kind of like being really conscious of this whole thing, or is that
I would say so.
Yeah,
I'm not like that at all.
Because to be fair, I did like I now follow like a load of people who I would not have otherwise even seen if it wasn't for some of those bigger places pushing it out there. But that's kind of me going against
Shane and business. It's as if you organized an event and loads of people came and it was great, and then everybody thanked somebody else.
Oh no, I get that, but I mean like that. I get the robbing your thing is not okay. I'm not. I get what you're saying on that. So
you frozen?
Oh no.
Like someone like anyone, even though it should be credit to you, on someone like on a BuzzFeed thing or maybe or someone like in your the same photo on your own feed. It's a like either way. It makes it's like a valueless currency.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I get what you're saying as well, because a lot of it does come down to ego almost, of just being like, oh, but I'm not getting the like.
Yeah.
You know, even sometimes like I kind of struggle with them myself, honestly, of like, because I have my professional page and then I have my personal profile. Excuse me. And like my professional page is where I put on my artwork, because I feel I don't want to be like spamming people on my you know, just friends or whatever who don't care about my art or whatever. So I made a separate page that like people can kind of opt into following it. But for some reason, part of me is like, it doesn't really bother me anymore. But I have there's just this weird thing that happens in my brain when I share something from my professional page on my personal page. I almost consider the likes on my personal page to be worth less than the likes on my professional page, almost.
That's an interesting
just because most people
they've gone out of their way to look at us.
Yeah, or it's kind of like where my public page is, or my my professional page is public, whereas my private page is generally private, you know. So so it's like there was more place for that one to grow than there is for this one, if you get me.
Yeah, I get that.
So, well, generally nowadays what I do is if I am sharing something from my professional page, I'm going to post a public post about it on my personal page. So I guess it doesn't work out. I don't know. It's just but I realize that's kind of mostly just a weird brain thing that's happening in my head that I just need to sort out.
But this comes back to another reason that I like things, because I also like things to kind of show solidarity with something or someone. So like if somebody is talking about things like art cred and they've been through a challenging time or whatever, I'll often like those posts to show that I agree with them and I support them. And
yeah, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, you know, it's like I heard something the other day in a podcast. It was like just saying, I was about sales and marketing and stuff, and then it was just like saying how it's so much easier to sell stuff that you didn't make. Because
I'd agree with that completely.
Because and I think this all comes back to like the caption, because like in my brain the caption's really important no matter what platform it's on, even if it's on Instagram where the caption is kind of like shoved down and the picture is the prominent thing. Like I think the caption is so important, and what you say in it is so important, because like if you didn't make it, you can be like, this is the best thing ever, it's great, and like there's like no repercussion if somebody goes around and says, oh, that's shit, and it's like, all right, well, that's okay, I didn't make it, you know, so you don't have the same attachment. But like, you know, it's funny because I often, just on the topic of like the caption, I often see people who would be, what's the word I'm looking for, self-deprecating with their comments, and they're like, oh, here's this shit piece of art that I did that's really shit and it's really bad and stuff, but I'm putting it up here because it's really bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Why? Why are you why? I'm like, if you don't consider it to be worth my time, it's not worth my time.
Why are you taking up my time?
Then why are you taking up my time? Yeah, exactly. You know, well, maybe I'm thinking about too much like a business and stuff, you know, because this is like on people's personal profile pages or whatever like that. But at the same time, I'm like, no, if you're putting this up here, you know, just go with it, you know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what
no,
level
I'd agree
you're
with
at.
that. But I do think you're right. It's easier to sell something that isn't yours, because like
100%.
everyone will recommend like a TV show that they think is amazing, and they won't hesitate at all to tell you all the reasons that it's great. But like you can't do that about your own work. Like I can't put out a piece of art and say, oh, it's great because the details are amazing and the line work is fantastic, and like you just can't do that.
And even like I just even the marketing plan for this podcast, you know, thankfully Shane was here to kind of talk some sense into us, because to be honest, nobody would have known about it if Shane didn't hop on, because Shane is from that marketing side of things, so he's like, yeah, just do this and just do that, and I'm like, this makes complete sense, but my art brain is like, no, but what if I bother somebody? And it's like, but it doesn't bother anybody, but What?
I do that all the time. I
Can I
way
ask,
overthink
just-
social media.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like changing topics. So if you're, I was just going to say, can I ask, like, is like graphic and like picture-y stuff, is that all?
Oh dear.
Other
You want to
than
try that again?
Oh dear. Oh no, is he gone? No, come back to us, Shane.
no internet? Can you hear me? You
Yeah,
can't do it. Oh, cool. So like, what? Like, say, obviously you're liking pictures and drawings and creative stuff like that. But what other stuff are you liking that's coming up on your timelines anywhere?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram,
Ooh,
wherever.
That's a good
Because-
That's
question.
a good point.
Like-
Interesting
like a-
articles and things like that.
There's a lot of
are-
stuff. Yeah, 'cause I would like anything, really.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But there is a lot more on the internet, and I have no photos come up on my timeline at all.
That's so bizarre to me. Like,
Yeah,
I have
just
no idea what that
videos.
would even look like.
yeah, that's really weird. Yeah, because
I genuinely have no concept of what that would even look like. That never even crossed my mind that that could happen.
so I guess it's like if we were to break it down, so somebody puts out a post and it's just text. What makes you press like? In general, what's a general thing that's going to make you press like or not press like?
Is this like a person who's just like ranting on Facebook or being like, "Oh, I just saw this person," or
Yeah, something like that.
I
Or
went
just-
to the Malibu and it was amazing, telling you about their experience and sharing on Facebook kind of thing. Because I don't think that happens anymore.
Well,
Well, no one's going to tell you about their experience in Malibu without a photo. Realistically.
unless it was like in the winter.
I
Yeah.
guess it wouldn't. There'd still be at least a phone image.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But in terms of just
I don't know,
text posts, I'd often like things, if it's just a really interesting article, it doesn't need to have a great picture or anything. Like,
But you would like them.
on Twitter, I'd often like things that, you come across threads that are just like fascinating facts about history or something. And I'd
yeah?
I'd often like those, just to like keep track of them. And again, it's what I said earlier about like cataloging and remembering that interesting fact and tidbit.
Do you? Can I ask you? Do you read a lot on the internet?
Me,
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
Huge amount.
because I think that's because that's a good point is that like because I'm very I don't read much on the thing, and so one of the selling points for me to like something almost is if it's short.
Oh,
if it's quick and snappy, and it's also formatted well, because I see people and they put up a block of text. I won't like that block of text because I won't read it. But if you had the same text and just put a few spaces in between it, just like go down a line every now and again, or just
Paragraphs
put
and stuff.
or just put like the different kind of like symbols you can put just to break it up a bit. I'm much more likely to read that, and I'm much more likely to like it then. But
I think the internet
Yeah.
is it's a good place for that, because they say people don't read beyond 200 words on the internet unless they're really committed.
yeah, I'm probably even less, to be honest. It's 2 lines.
Yeah, because
2 lines is
at my
max.
head, at 200 words, I am committed.
Yeah,
Like, I'm going to go the whole way now.
that's a good point actually. Yeah, because
That's really interesting.
to be fair, it's like if there was a big message. Now, some messages are just really long, and I'm not going to read the really long ones, no matter how interesting the subject is. It depends on what time you get me at, I guess, as well. And but like if you had like a good chunk of text, but you had an interesting picture with it, and the picture has already grabbed my attention, and I'm more invested into what you're saying in the text. But again, if it's formatted badly,
This is really interesting because you, like, based on what you're saying, you're pretty much exclusively a visual person,
yeah, pretty much.
and then Shane doesn't really care about the images, but you're purely a
Yeah.
text person. And then I
Yeah,
like
like, I'll
information.
read the text and I'll watch a video, and that's about as good as my social content consumption goes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, like I don't stop. I scroll past videos thinking that they're just ads, or pictures, thinking that.
Wow,
That's interesting. That's a good point, actually.
that is really interesting, especially that ads blend
Yeah.
into your network like that.
Yeah.
Because does that make you more inclined to watch ads then?
Yeah, just wallpaper.
Say that again? I just
Oh,
leaned
well,
closer to
like,
my
worked in
computer to
advertising.
hear you
Worked in
better.
advertising.
It's just wallpaper.
I thought that. When I worked in an ad agency for like 3 months, I started like obviously tuning into the ads, but beyond that, I even after it, I have to admit, like I just ignore them, and I kind of get where the artist creativity side has come from, but yeah, like it's very easy for me to just ignore anything that could be an ad,
Yeah, I'd be the same.
which includes a lot of stuff.
That's interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And what would make you like an ad then? Like
Oh,
that's
nothing.
nothing at all.
No, I've never like I don't click through on.
Well,
Okay, he's
dear.
frozen. What about you, Richard? Have you ever liked an ad on social media?
Well, that's a good point, actually. I have many times, actually, and I will like anything that's quick, snappy, and clever. If it's clever, yeah.
Clever is an interesting one because that's a big reason that I like things.
Yeah.
If something is done in a unique way, if it's something I haven't seen before, then I'm much more inclined to like it.
Yeah.
In a sort of a, I support this. Keep thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
I like this.
or if it's like a joke or something, you know. To be honest, I rarely click through the ad, but I will like the actual ad post. Oh dear, Shane's gone. Is he? Oh.
Your turn.
Oh no, he's there. Hi, Shane.
Yeah, I'm back.
Apologies, viewer, for technical difficulties. Hopefully, we'll have all this resolved by the next podcast.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really interesting topic, actually, that we need to delve into even deeper. But you know, we'll definitely have to have another podcast about this some other time, and maybe even get some other people in as well to ask them the same question, see what they think. Because I'm actually just fascinated by the amount of variety in answers here, like just because we're all friends here, so like we all get along, but we have completely different views on what we deem likable and stuff,
And completely different approaches to social media in general, it seems.
Yeah.
But I have like
Interesting,
a separate.
Oh dear.
That's fascinating.
You hear me?
Yeah, you're back again.
Try again.
Oh, cool. I have like a whole separate like attitude to social media liking and stuff. If I want something, like say, if I'm starting a blog, I'll like start following people who are targeted for that blog. I like all of their stuff. And I wouldn't normally like anything that belongs to them. I'll
Spoilers.
strategically like them just to get their attention.
Yeah.
Just to benefit me, so they might click on the blog.
People are
But
just
beyond that,
Well, that's interesting because I will sometimes, you know, it wouldn't make up my mind as to whether or not I'm going to like something. But if somebody has recently liked a lot of my things, then I will be more inclined to like pay that back. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how much just like a little bit of attention will get you, you know.
Like not necessarily as like a self. But it's not necessarily like a selfish kind of action. It's more just. I don't know. It's nearly as if like that person is slightly more in my head.
Yeah. So
Just the like familiarity is like a comfort zone, and I'm more likely to.
You just get curious, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that all the time. You know, like somebody follows me on Instagram or whatever like that, and if they have an interesting, you know, icon or name or something, I might actually just check them out if they've been liking my stuff.
And like if the name comes up more and more, I'm much more likely to reach out and look at a stranger's stuff. If I'm just seeing that name a lot.
What's funny is,
you know, I don't want to encourage that either because you don't want people just spamming you.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? When you said it's much more likely, it's like, this is no guarantee. None of this is a guarantee.
No. All of these rules are made to be broken.
You know, again, I'm going to reference a podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about the steak and the sizzle.
Yeah.
And that you need, like, the steak is the...
Oh, I think I know that.
Yeah, that's like the product. And sizzle is the, like, the tease, you know, the advertisement or whatever like that. And, like, you can get people to buy a bunch of steak with just sizzle, but then once they buy the steak, then
they're never going to come back.
They're never going to come back if it's really bad or something. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting, that whole like.
But if you have
balance.
the steak and you have no sizzle, then nobody is going
to sees it.
Consider it.
Yeah. Nobody looked over it, so yeah. I'm just conscious now. It's actually just after 10 o'clock, but we did start late. So do you guys want to go on a little bit longer, or should we wrap things up and pick this up next week maybe, or?
I don't mind. We can go to 10 past and.
Yeah, that'd be fair.
Just
and do our little outro things and stuff.
Your steak.
Oh God, Shane, you're breaking up something fierce. What are we going to do with you? But now that I said that, I'm just like, oh, my head is just like blank slated everything, and I'm onto my outro phase right now. So I need somebody else to give me a topic.
There's one other reason that I would like things in a significant way, but specifically for in groups on Facebook and things. That sounded like the line was haunted.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Is there a ghost on there on the line?
But anyway, one reason that I like things when I'm in groups on Facebook is to show someone that I've seen something. I don't know. Do you do that? Like we have a behind the scenes Facebook page for this podcast.
Yeah.
And when Richard was posting things there, I'd like things to show him that I've seen this.
Yeah.
And I am aware of this. I have digested. You sent this information out, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
So do you do that as well?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Totally different.
But I'll do that at the start and then realize I forgot to keep it up.
Yeah.
You see,
that does happen too.
And I think for me, like, I'm very consistent with that kind of stuff because, especially if it is a group that's supposed to work together to do things, then I would be very consistent with that stuff because I expect it.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of, well, it's not really that I expect it, but it's kind of like
or you'd appreciate it.
Yeah, it's kind of like if I'm going to expect it from other people, I need to do it myself. So I make sure to try and null down all the little habits that other people do that I dislike. I want to try and take those out of my system, so that I'm not so hypocritical or anything like that. Of course, nobody's perfect. It does happen every now and again, or if you just catch me in a bad time, I'll forget or something, or I don't know.
Like, it's one of those things that, like, it's essentially like giving something to someone and they never say thank you or anything, and it's like, did they get it?
Or when, like,
I don't know.
or when nobody says goodbye, when you like, that seems to be a thing with some people. I don't know why. Like,
yeah, and then it's like, is it over? Did anything happen?
Yeah,
what happened?
put a ribbon on this. Finish it.
In what? Can say goodbye in what?
What'd you say?
I get lost.
Yeah, you're breaking
what is saying goodbye in? Never mind. Just keep going without me.
No, I like you.
Pretty much is just the Richard and Alice podcast.
Go on without me.
And then there's Shane here is just the window dressing, I suppose.
She's pretty.
Interesting noise.
It's so funny that your hand wouldn't even like fit in the frame.
Oh, that's good. There you go.
Beautiful. Thank you.
That should be a hand bottle, listeners.
Actually, one thing I want to ask before we wrap up is do you guys use, so specifically talking about Facebook now, do you guys, sorry, I want to ask questions about the different platforms, and then we'll wrap up. So with Facebook, do you guys use the other like options? Or when would you be inclined to use those?
No,
never.
Like even more of a waste of time than liking.
Like the haha and all those other things that they have.
The hearts
angry
and
to be honest, I don't even know what they are.
I think
is there a sad face? If there was a sad face, I might use it because there's some posts come up and you want to like show support or something, but you don't want to be like, yay, somebody died.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, so I might use a sad face, but I'd prefer a dislike button.
You have to like that status.
Yeah.
Oh wait, even though if it was a dislike button, then that would be terrible too.
They're actually, the reason they put in those different options is because they didn't want it to put in a dislike button. because then a dislike
Probably
button.
for that reason.
Yeah, so it's like because people their feelings are their reasoning is that people are their feelings are more complicated than yes or no. So
Yeah.
what they did is they have like, you know, did you think this was funny? Did you think it was sad? Did you think it was, you know, so it is a really good idea. Just part of me is like, I don't know, is it like my Irish sarcasm? But part of me is like, if I put in one of those, like I'm only now just getting used to using different smiley faces than just like :P and XD and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm only now getting used to using those other ones. But because I feel like if I was to like put a sad face or something like that, I feel like I'm coming across sarcastically or something. I don't know if that's just my Irish way that we're just always sarcastic. So,
Yeah, no, that brings up another point because, like when I was thinking about this over the past few days and everything, I realized that I do use likes to kind of boost something as well. Like if I think this is good and more people need to see this, then I will like things because I think my friends might see it and things like that. Whereas I would like to have a dislike button because if something comes up that I don't like and I think people shouldn't see this, I'd like to be able to like downvote it.
interesting.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're familiar with like, I don't know, Reddit or something.
Or YouTube.
You know the way you can you can like it
Downvote
and dislike it and that like balances out how popular it is essentially.
Yeah.
But I understand that
Yeah,
wouldn't work. That wouldn't work
Yeah.
on such a personal site. Like your identity is attached to all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if there was like an anonymous dislike button or something.
Well, you can actually. There is actually.
It's like, Alice liked this, but someone else disliked this.
But 50 people dislike this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be suspicious.
And you won't know who they are, but they might be your close friends.
Yeah, you can see how that would get like pretty terrible fairly quickly.
I guess that's it. It's like, what is the platform trying to do? Because you know the way, like on YouTube, there is a dislike button and there's a like button, but those
But
kind
I don't
of
think social media as social. I don't think of YouTube as a social media.
yeah. You see, that's it. Like, you know, 'cause
YouTube is just
definitely.
a website.
Definitely not.
what's funny is like I
Instagram.
almost
It's a social media now.
Yeah,
Facebook is for businesses.
yeah.
but it's social media because your identity is attached to everything.
Yeah.
I use like Facebook in my head has turned into more of an entertainment / business targeting model.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because you don't go on Facebook to socialize with people. Like I don't see anything belonging to people I know.
Really?
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
pretty
Like
surprising,
I come
because
across
I
College
do.
Humor, BuzzFeed, Unilad, the Lad Bible, and that's probably my feed.
That's really interesting because I often would go on Facebook more than any other social media to see what my friends are doing.
Yeah.
Oh no, I use Instagram.
That's
Oh,
interesting.
I don't know many people on Instagram. On Instagram, I follow more, strangers.
You know, because
Whereas on Facebook, I feel like Facebook is a much more personal, closer friend sort of network.
yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do, I guess, with when you went on to Facebook and stuff, because like I've been on Facebook for a number of years now, so I guess it's like that was the first place, and this is like social media, so I kind of went into the whole social media thing as opposed to like I wasn't making my own media, and now that I'm making my own media, like I don't really feel I've never really been bothered by sharing what I'm doing with other people, like what I'm personally doing with people who have no connection, who aren't around me, like, physically, or so it's like, I don't really care about the world knowing whatever I've done. So, except for like when it comes to my art stuff, because that's kind of more like my business end of things. I want to build up a portfolio and I want to get known for doing things. So that's the only kind of stuff that I share. Anyway.
That's a really interesting distinction. Yeah, because I'd be like you. I wouldn't share much about like my private life on Facebook, but at the same time I kind of like when other people do or like they share holiday photos and stuff.
Yeah,
I like seeing that somebody's gone off to America, or somebody's gone to Italy or whatever. and I just think it's nice to like see their faces every now and then, because I don't get to see a lot of my friends very often, so I appreciate when people do.
Because I wouldn't use Facebook for that at all.
And what
It's
would
so
you
strange.
So for you, is it purely just kind of a curated
Entertainment.
catalog of?
It's like a mini YouTube targeted for me.
I think I'm kind of in the
Wow.
middle between the two of you. Because I'm kind
Like
of
I
halfway
have a
out.
few things like that.
People fall in
'cause I
love
would
with it, pretty
come-
much it.
Like I would come across things like that, but primarily, like there are some days that, like, this is me just revealing my introversion, but like there are some days that I just don't want to see anybody, and like those days I won't go on Facebook.
Yeah,
Like I'll avoid Facebook completely for that entire day.
that's interesting.
But I wouldn't have a problem going on Twitter or Instagram or something.
Maybe this is like a topic for a whole new podcast.
Yeah.
Oh dear, yeah. one
Uses
with
of
other
the different social media.
Yeah. Definitely need to.
We're getting really into it.
And I mean,
Just Facebook as well.
like,
I didn't realize this was such a thing. I think, like, in my head, this is how these social medias worked, and I didn't realize that there was an alternative to the ways I use social media.
and that's just us.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's so many different types of people around. Like.
Yeah, this is like three. I need to use them the same way as each other, but I'm completely different. So that's just two ways. There's definitely like another one. I don't know.
One.
There are 4 types of people in this universe: Richard, Alice, Shane, and other.
We're yet to find you.
Yeah, I mean, like, even
I'm
just-
amazed that you came up with the number one. What?
What?
I'm not going to be wrong, so I'm like technically
At least one.
not wrong. It's got to be at least one.
And like, I mean, because you get into, I didn't even think about this, but like how the different platforms allow you to like things. You know, the way like,
Yeah.
for example, Instagram has you trained that you have to, like, Instagram is on your mobile, and your thumb is scrolling anyway, so your thumb is going to be on the picture, and all you have to do is double click to like it. So and like that's super easy. Whereas like on Facebook, your like cursor is probably on the far right on the scroll wheel, on the scroll thing, on the scroll bar, excuse me. And
People really scroll back.
you probably aren't going to go all the way to kind of the middle side, middle of the, you're going to be less likely to go to do that effort. And then, I mean, even things like, I think it's interesting, we could discuss things like Netflix used to have a star rating system, where it was you if you watch something, then you rate it out of 5 stars, and now they have a like and dislike thing.
Yeah.
To simplify it, and
But that was pretty much it. Like, is either give it all stars or no stars. That was what you never give it like 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 5.
I'd be really
That's
critical.
weird. Richard was really thoughtful about things like that.
So thoughtful.
Always, every time.
Yeah. I loved it.
We'd have like
Just all or
half-hour
nothing.
debates about whether this was a 3 or a 4-star thing.
Like it would almost spark a discussion that it was like what would you actually give it? If you were some movie critic, what would you actually give it, or something like that? It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And what are the breaking points? Like what is it that is bringing you down to a 3, and what is it that's boosting you up to a 4?
Yeah. So
Gas.
I suppose that's the topic.
But I think that's because you're really analytical.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm always just and then it's like
Yeah.
I see people's pictures and stuff like that, and like one of the things that's going to throw me off a dislike is if the composition is wrong. Now I know this is a bit hypocritical on this podcast when Shane has a portrait video and everybody else doesn't, but in general, this is live. This is what
Technical
happens.
difficulties.
Yeah.
Richard wouldn't technically like my stuff on Facebook, so
No.
Is that a dig?
composition. Jesus,
I liked
not good enough.
I liked the posts that when you shared about this podcast. I liked those.
That's because you told me to go back and write over it.
Really? You actually
Remember
said
that yesterday morning?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
actually did.
like yesterday morning I got up and I shared it and I forgot to write that I was going to be on it, put a little caption on it, and then Richard, 2 seconds after me sharing it, Richard messaged me on Messenger, being like, "Oh hey, I just saw you shared a post. Down for that. Any chance you might just put a caption?"
Yeah, I did 100%.
So when you said it there earlier in the podcast today, I was like, there it is.
Yeah, because
I feel like we should probably wrap this up before
Yeah.
friendships deteriorate.
well, no, I don't think it is. But that's just me, because I'm like, right, from my perspective, I wouldn't be inclined to look into this further. So I was like, oh, I don't want, because we're trying to bring awareness. So I don't want to turn people off for something something as simple as that. But yeah, it totally was.
That's so funny that you did that though.
I told you, I tried not to, yeah. Thank you very much, people, for tuning in. I know it's been a bit of a rough ride. It's the first podcast. To be honest, I did not expect this many technical issues. Everything was working like perfectly 12 minutes before we went on. And and then it all sort of fell apart. I think I would actually really like to get the two of these guys back on to a podcast sometime in the future, and we'll have to discuss this further. I especially need Shane, you because I think you've been a little quiet now because of the technical issues, and we've been kind of out of sync for a while,
right,
and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. So it'd be great to have you back on in your full swing of things. So anyways, people, if you have anything to say about what we're talking about, please comment below or to the side or wherever the comment bar happens to be, and we'll read it all, and by the next podcast we'll discuss it as part of our warm-up before we get into whatever the next topic will be. Hopefully the next podcast will be same time. We're aiming for Wednesday at probably 9 o'clock again. And then other than that, if you're watching this on Twitch right now, or I suppose on YouTube or whatever, there's links in the description, and there's links in the down below or wherever and all over the place to the Facebook page, the Twitter page, and the Instagram page, and all that kind of stuff, so that you can keep up with when the streams are happening. But other than that, I've been Richard. You can follow and find me pretty much anywhere as Rich to the RDO. So and Facebook page and of all this kind of stuff, and I'm sure there's links places. And then I hand it over to Alice first, I guess. Ladies first, after me.
Okay, thanks for listening, everyone, and thank you, Richard and Shane, for a lovely conversation. If you want to find anything else about me, just search for One Curious Chip. It's everywhere, basically. Okay.
Cool. And Shane, do you have any place to promote?
Yeah, I actually, this is a funny story. So, story short.
Getting into a new podcast now.
So, when you asked me to be on the podcast, and then you were like, oh, and it's a chance for you to like, to plug out whatever you need to plug that you want to promote on the podcast. And I was like, right, better start a blog.
Nice.
So I started a blog for the sole purpose that I could promote my blog on your podcast.
There is going to be no posts. It is a blank blog.
No, actually, I have like 6. I have 6 posts, I think.
Wow.
Really? I didn't hear about this, Shane.
Yeah.
What is this? I want to look this up.
No, I kept it on the down low. This is my launch.
Oh!
Okay, this is my launch. It's called
This is exciting.
the perfection paragraph. So if you go onto WordPress, perfection paragraph, it's called that because every post you can read in about 20 seconds, and it's just going to be me talking, but like kind of no nonsense kind of way about stuff that comes into my mind. And it's going to be really random topics. It's not going to be any like theme, but it's just going to be like, I'm going to like try and just sieve out as much bullshit out of life as possible. So if you read it, you're just like, yeah, that's a genuine opinion.
Did you just say that you can read it in 20 seconds? Each post?
Not the whole blog, but like
yeah.
one post. Yeah,
okay, I'm interested now. I'm interested.
That sounds perfect for Richard.
I'm going to
I do think they take about a minute, though.
Oh, dear.
I'm looking at it now. I'd say so. Oh. I find it hard to judge.
Cool, gotta check that out. And if it's on, if you're watching this on YouTube, all the links are going to be down below anyway. I'm not sure how to put the links on Twitch and whatever else. But this is a journey, people. This podcast is a journey. So thank you for joining us on this journey, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. And hopefully we won't have so many technical issues. Hopefully. Bye-bye, people. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye to the internet.
I did, yeah. Well, all the people watching, you know.
Are there people watching?